Hello, Tijana Koso here, and I'm going to tell you about my favorite tapping. It's called Rant Tapping. Oh my gosh, it is so good. If you rant tap, oh, it's so good. So here's how you rant tap. You know when does anybody have anybody in their life that kind of bothers them, that gets on their nerves? Anybody know a know-it-all? Person knows everything. I was with a woman who literally went to a counselor and learned tapping at the counselor. And I was with her and she told me how to tap. This is my career. This is my job. She's like, oh, this is how you do it. And then I just sat there with my mouth zipped. And she ended up looking at me like, oh yeah, you tap for a living. And she shut her mouth. But I didn't go off on her because I had my hand and I was doing public tapping, which is this thing right here where you press on your hand. You'd have to look up that video for public tapping, or I call it public pressing. So here's the thing. What is rant tapping? That person who absolutely drives you crazy, what you want to do is pick up the phone and you're going to call your other friend, you're going to call your partner, you're going to tell your mother, your sister, you're going to say, oh my God, you know what she did? She did this and she told me it all, or he did that. He always is over my shoulder looking at my work. Whatever it is, you're going to pick up the phone and call somebody, right? And you're going to vent and you're going to tell him, I'm so angry. He's always checking at my work, or it just makes me feel stupid. I don't know why he does that. That's what you're going to say, okay? That's what you're going to say while you tap. Because I like to say, if you call me up and vent and you don't tap, I call it bitching without switching, okay? I make my friends, my kids, tap while they talk to me. Because if not, they're going to call me tomorrow with the same story, all right? In fact, I had a client, her name is, I forgot what her name was. And she called me up, and I think it was Jacqueline. She called me up, and we were doing a session, and she was so mad at her interior designer, America, what do they call it? First world problems, screwed up her order, and she was ranting and ranting and ramping and tapping. I made her tap, and finally she said, oh, gosh darn it. And I said, what's wrong? And she said, I'm not angry anymore, and I really wanted to carry on for 5 more minutes. And that was awesome, because what happened is she calmed herself down because she was venting her emotions, and she moved on. And we moved the rest of the session to something other than interior designing. Okay, so what is rant tapping? What are you going to tell that person, that your friend, about the problem you had at work? You're going to tell them how angry you are, how you felt, how it made you feel, why it bothers you. And all you're going to do is go through your tapping points. We're not going to go even though, because we're ranting. I don't have time for that. Just start going at it. I mean, I had a client, she was black and blue here. I said, we don't have to go quite that hard. Just go through your points. Tell the story. And the most important thing is what? It has to include your emotions. It can't be it can't be superficial. You have to get to the point. I'm angry. I'm resentful. I feel stupid. Why does he or she do that? That is what you need to do. Get the emotion involved. Tap. I can promise you, you will calm down. So when you see that person, you will show up differently. You won't show up with all this bottled up energy, because if you just stuff it down, you're just, emotions aren't buried dead, they're buried alive. And we, especially in the counseling field, teachers, they have a tendency to just stuff it down there, look, smile, happy. No, I'm fine. But actually inside their stomachs are just all tied up in knots. So go alone by yourself, tap it out. You don't have to tap it with your friends. You can go in your bedroom, you can go by yourself, you can go in your car, tap out your anger, take a deep breath, drink some water. And so when you show up to communicate with that person, you are showing up on your game, sharp on your game. I always say, bring your frontal lobes back online, so your thinking part of the brain's making decisions, not your small self that's all emotionally involved with this. Okay? So rant tapping, best thing you can do, vent, tell the story, bring an emotion in, and do it by yourself, and it'll take away the charge, so when you show up, you'll be the best version of yourself. I hope that makes sense for you. If you have any other questions, email me, and I'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much. Tijana with Koso Consulting.